Hey, Jeffrey Paul with another inspirational story. I have a young lady, 20 years old, who has suffered and experienced alopecia. And she's going to tell you about that experience to help strengthen and encourage you. Let me introduce Emily. Emily, welcome to a wonderful time to tell your story.
Hi.
Well, we are excited about you being here. You have gone through a lot, and for such a young person, all the kids that we see in Wigs for Kids are young persons, of course, but in turn, it's been interesting watching your storyline, and we're going to let the audience know some of the good news at the end of our storyline. But tell me where this started. I mean, you were just a normal, everyday kid. What started your experience and journey on alopecia?
Yeah, so I was 15 years old, freshman year of high school. I went to a I went to an all-girls school. I used to like to braid my hair so that the next day it would be kind of wavy. Yeah, so I would do that maybe like twice a week. And one time I braided my hair, one braid on each side. I like turned the mirror to see in the back to see if I had missed any pieces, and I saw my part start to kind of looked a little wider than normal, and I was very nervous. So I told my mother that I think I had a spot. And she told me everything's gonna be fine. One time, your sister actually had a bald spot. We're just gonna go to the doctor, you'll get some cream, and everything will be okay.
Now, your sister had some experience with alopecia?
She did. She had one tiny bald spot. Nothing came out of it, though. Yeah, she just took some topical cream, and it came back.
And moms are always the best one. It's gonna be okay, honey.
It's gonna be okay.
Those are special moms that are out there. The next step, once that first sight, you probably took a deep breath and was really scared, I would imagine, because you didn't know what's going on. Yeah.
A couple weeks later, I had been checking, obviously every single night, and
multiple times through the day, I'm sure. Yeah.
I put my hair in a ponytail, and my friend actually noticed another spot. So that's when I really started to freak out, and it's the end of my freshman year now, so I'm going to school, my hair is thinning. I'm obviously very nervous, hoping that summer can happen soon so I have time to like fix whatever is happening. So I went to another doctor, and I started to get the injections.
And so that's the cortisone injection into the scalp.
The first time I went, it was really hard because it obviously hurts very bad when they're just injecting shots into your scalp. So after that, the hair basically just kept coming out, and it would start to get super tangled because the hair is falling out, getting tangled with the hair that's still in. And by summer, middle of summer, I had shaved my head.
Oh, I don't remember that part of the story. Really?
Yeah. I had been doing gymnastics.
Did you have a party, or what did you do? That was brave. That was very brave.
Yeah, I wanted it to be more of my decision to shave my head rather than keep living through this like traumatic experience of having no hair and it keep coming out.
That's quite an initiative of, I'm going to call it bravery, because you still had hair, and I know some of the alopecia patients that I work with, if I have a fine ponytail, they want me to, braid it or whatever it is, because it means something to them. But you had a very mature level of looking at it to be able to say, hey, I want to be in control. I mean, that's what you must have been saying to yourself, right?
Exactly, yes.
Very well said. I knew you were grown up, but go ahead, tell us what happened after the shave of the head.
I had been doing gymnastics at the time, so I would go to practice 4 or 5 times a week. That was also a little bit hard because I had to just get used to everyone seeing me that way for a while. And
no wigs, no bands, headbands, no scarves?
At first. I would wear hats a lot. I actually, one of the first hair pieces that I had gotten, it was like a circle kind of thing with just hair on the line, and I would put that on. It was kind of when I had
and put a cap on the top.
And put a cap on the top, so it would just kind of be showing at the bottom.
Just bought online? I mean, did you just go online and buy it? Did you go to a wig shop?
I went to a wig shop. It was in Strongsville somewhere. And then I needed a wig, so I looked online. I picked out my first hairpiece with my old gymnastics coaches. It was kind of, I don't know, they made it fun for me. They said, this is gonna be fun, you're gonna get to wear a wig.
Good support system.
Yeah, really good support system. So I picked my first wig online, and when it came, it was I don't know, I cried when it came.
Surprise in the box.
Yeah. And obviously it's not like the wigs that I have now, but it made me happy at the time. So I went the rest of summer wearing that hairpiece and throughout my sophomore year as well.
And then all of a sudden you discovered Wigs for Kids.
Yes.
How I love to hear the story about how that, you know, kind of entered the gate at the point.
Yeah, so I had this wig, which it just didn't seem to be working for me. I was a cheerleader at the time now, so I would cheer some of my games without my hair on, and which was, looking back, I kind of am proud of myself for being able to do that. So I was looking for new options, and my mom said, hey, like, there's this organization, Wigs for Kids. It's also really close by, so we can try and fill something out and be able to get you a hairpiece, because I had no idea what that would even make of. Yeah, so she ended up filling out whatever form that was necessary. She sent in a picture of me, and
I still have that picture.
Oh no. She sent in a picture of me, and that's when I had obviously met you, probably maybe around December, February, winter time of that year. And by April, I had a new hairpiece from you, and I loved it.
And you continue to be active because I don't know how you kept the other hairpieces on, but you were able to have an attachment system in our hairpiece.
Right. It was honestly such a awakening for me, because I was able to cheer and continue to do flips, and which I wasn't able to do with my other hairpiece on.
When you think about 20 to 30 ponytails that go into, you know, a hairpiece that we make, and that means probably 10 or 15 people have donated those ponytails that have gone into that. Does it give you a positive feeling? Does it give you any kind of thoughts of how many people care about you to be able to donate their hair? Because you know how important hair is, of course. What are your thoughts when you think about that?
It amazes me, like, how so many people donate their hair and they have no idea how many people they're making happy. And it makes me so happy to think some of my friends have actually donated their hair. And when I think about it, it makes me so happy, because you could just cut it off, you could do nothing, but there are people who need the hair.
We'll wrap some summary around the features of what you shared with us. Your success journey came with a mom that is, you know, a wonderful support system and understood and guided you without freaking you out. You went through the other process of having the gymnastic team wrap around you, and obviously because of your personality, and you must care. But you go to the next level, it's people caring for other people. You had to be caring for other people, and you had to be sensitive to other people, just because knowing you just couldn't be any other way. I mean, I know that. But it's interesting because that strength, that character that you had already been built in, met you where the challenge came in your life. And we all go through challenges. There's nobody that escapes this life without a challenge at this point. But you had already had some incredible character built into you that was able to give you that strength to take. But the keys of moms and families and you know, the community around us is really important. Now you got that hairpiece, and now you're going to go to college. But before college, you were graduating and going to prom, I remember?
Yes.
I have that picture too.
Yes, prom was
Tell us about prom, because that's a big deal. That's a real big deal in high school.
Yeah, so I remember when I had first lost my hair, I was like, I love dressing up, I love taking pictures, and I remember thinking, I just want my hair back by the time prom happens, which ended up not happening for me. At the time, my eyelashes had grown back again, which was kind of a plus for me.
Because you had lost eyelashes and eyebrows as well,
yes, which ended up, they grew back for a little bit during my senior year of high school. So prom's coming up and I still don't have hair, but I have these beautiful hair pieces that you have given to me. And I called up the salon and they said, we can make your hair look beautiful for prom. So I went in, and it was kind of nice because I got to do it the day before, so I had more time to do my makeup the next day. So I came in and they did a beautiful updo with some twists, which was really nice because if it's windy, sometimes you don't want to be like touching your hair and worrying about it, but it was in this beautiful updo, and I got many compliments on it, and it looked so real as well. The pictures are awesome.
You look beautiful, like a princess
Thank you.
in that picture. Now you're at another plateau of your life, and I like the audience when we're doing an inspirational interview like this. It's really important because there's somebody out there that is watching this that has alopecia or going through cancer or trichotillomania. And the reality is, how do you live life? Even if you got hair, how do you live life? And your next life experience is going to be college. And you went to, what's the famous, wonderful college you got?
Miami University.
Miami University. And what was that all like? What was going through your head, and the wig and the hair loss and all those things?
Oh yeah, so much had been going through my head, thinking about meeting new people. Everyone I had known where I lived, my high school, so everyone I knew had also known or knew about me. So thinking about going to a new city, a new place where people had not known my story and maybe would not be so sympathetic because they don't realize that something's even happening. It was very scary. Thinking about having to tell someone new, thinking about a roommate, thinking about where am I going to wash my hair, how is this going to work, sleeping somewhere other than my house every single night. So my one childhood friend, we had been friends since kindergarten, she was also going to Miami University. We decided we would room together.
Oh, that was
good. So something I do look back and tell myself I should have looked for more help around, which I did not do at first. I should have sought guidance. A better living situation definitely would have been better for me. Living in a dorm without a bathroom, a community bathroom was definitely a place I did not want to be washing my hair.
Your hair
am
piece,
very
because
my hairpiece. Yes, I'm very protective of it. I don't want it in a long sink where everyone else can just walk in and out of the bathroom. So luckily my sister had been going to school there at the time, and she would allow me to come to her house whenever I needed, and I would be able to wash my hair in her private bathroom. So I was very thankful that she was able to help me out with that aspect, but it was still hard because it was never in my control when I could wash my hair. It was still up to her a little bit.
Yeah, her schedule and that type of thing.
Her schedule, yeah. So it was hard for me not to be able to do things on my own. Then another thing would be just sleeping in the dorm in general. You'd get nervous, like who's gonna knock on your door. You feel like you don't have enough privacy, and just going to take a shower would be such a process because I would have to put my hair on, kind of figure out where I can keep it while I'm in the shower, do a regular shower, and I felt like I was like hiding, which I didn't want to do. And not to say that I'm not confident and wouldn't want people to see, but it should be my choice who gets to see me when I'm most vulnerable.
Yeah, that's really well said, because that whole thing that you just described is really a challenge, because you went from a community that knew you trusted them, they accepted you, to a brand new community. That's a big leap, even if you're just with hair. That's a big, I mean, I know how many of the kids that would go to college, that's really a big challenge. So then the next step is that you went through some of those challenges because you got through the first year, okay?
Yes.
And each year you'd come back and we got you a new hairpiece, which was wonderful, and we always got the updated story of how things are going. And so what I learned from you and what we share when we go through a consultation each year is what you've learned, so that I can pass it on to the professionals dealing with other children like yourself, although you're not much of a children anymore, and also the relationship of the kids that we serve and the parents, because nobody gets a map or a book on how to handle this kind of situation, because no two are the same. Some don't lose eyelashes and eyebrows and hair, some do, some have it coming back and forth, so there's a lot of different curves in the road. So I thank you for all that you've shared. In your college experience, now going back, I know you're excited and you're ready to go back. You had an incredible kind of discovery when you said you realized there was something you could do at college by finding out more about a disability program.
Yes.
Share with us about that.
So I came across Student Disability Services, and I thought, this isn't for me. I am not a student with a disability. I can't ask for help, but I had realized, no, I am allowed to ask for help, and they are there to help me. So I had told them my story, and they told me I could get out of my second year living requirements. So by sophomore year, I was able to not live in the dorm with the community living. I had my own apartment with my own bathroom where I had privacy and felt very comfortable. Yeah.
Yes, that's good.
And another thing just that was hard, especially living in the dorm, was that if I wanted to get up and get food or get up and go anywhere, it was a process to get ready. I had to draw my eyebrows on, I had to put my hairpiece on, and if maybe I had a headache that day, I wouldn't want to get out of bed because I didn't want my hairpiece on my head that day. So living alone in an apartment was definitely an eye-opening experience because I could walk around freely. I
Go to the
could do
refrigerator anytime you
whatever
want.
I wanted to do.
Yeah,
So Student Disability Services really was able to accommodate me.
Well, in our second segment with your interview, I want to talk to you about all of the things that you applied to deal with the loss of eyebrows and eyelashes and some of these things, which I think will help. Each step will help someone out there. And that's
I
so
definitely
important.
have some tips that I learned and would like to share.
Yeah, that'd be exciting. That'd be very exciting. Now, here's one question. It's kind of the jackpot questions as we wrap things up, because I could go on and on with you because you're so brilliant of a young lady, and I'm proud of you. I got to tell you that.
Thank you.
As the founder of Wigs for Kids, you're the reason we do what we do. The people that give money, they do it because of people like you, and the life-changing experience they give, and the people who give the ponytails, they do that. And my whole team and staff, every day, they watch these videos more than even the public do, because it really gives us that inspiration to keep going, especially when, it's not sometimes fun to have to watch somebody go through that challenge.
Right.
But in turn, the relationship of a boyfriend always comes up in almost every one of the conversations as the girls get past 13, 14 years old. Some say, I don't think a guy will ever like me. I don't think I'll ever get married. And I have been participating in weddings of my kids that have grown up, and I did their hair for their wedding and was there for the celebration. So I know it happens. What does your head think about when it comes to relationships at that point? Do you have a boyfriend?
I do not have a boyfriend.
I'll send you the number. Go ahead.
It's definitely something that I thought in my head, oh, someone will never like me because I don't have hair. How could I ever talk about it with someone? How could I be comfortable? But after a while, you start to think, this is who I am, and if someone wouldn't like you for it, that's just not the person you'd want to be with anyways. And that still kind of seems like some cliche advice, but it's definitely true. That it's however you put yourself out there is kind of what you'll get back. So I think that not having hair wouldn't have a huge impact on if someone should like me or not. And that's not how I would want to be judged or judge other people. So
Annie was our national spokesperson. I think I've spoke to you about her before, and she's the one I just was in her wedding just recently, and it was so exciting because the boy that she now married, there's a man and now her husband, loved her more than you could ever imagine, and was another support system to that because he loved her just who she was. He loved her, the beauty inside, the beauty of the character. And I say this so often, that hair is not attached to just the follicle. Especially when we lose it, it's attached to self-esteem, it's attached to the beauty and femininity. But if you go within and you really see what you've seen in the mirror, and I'm not talking about just the physical mirror, but what you've seen in the mirror of your eye and your spirit, the reality is that you see how beautiful you are and you appreciate that. And that's what you put forth, Emily. You just put that beauty from within. So that's really, really precious.
yeah,
really
thank
precious.
you. I used to cheerlead for an all-boys school, and I would
On top of it.
Yes, I know.
Yes.
I would go walk into the school without my hair on. I would practice without my hair on. Sometimes I would wear a hat, but I didn't ever get embarrassed or think about if the boys would walk in and see me. I didn't think that was a huge deal. And when I cheered before I had gotten the hairpiece that would allow me to do flips, I would cheer without my hair on and be on the sidelines just like any other cheerleader. I didn't get to wear a bow, but but I was confident.
That's good. What would be some of the advice that you would be sharing with a young girl who would be going through alopecia, may not have all the support system or the courage at this point? What advice would you give them?
I would say that, once I heard when my hair had been first falling out that it was another young girl who didn't have hair, and she was saying that to be confident, she just didn't want to wear her wig, and it made me feel as if because I did wear a wig, I wasn't confident enough. But I learned that there are plenty of reasons that you would want to wear a wig, and that doesn't make me less confident or less brave or less bold. It still makes me, I am who I am, and I would just say that you can feel however you want to feel, and you don't have to let someone else tell you how you should react to this type of situation.
Just as a final question, do you speak within your own mind, I'm beautiful, I am brave? Do you use any affirmations at any point in just daily living at this
Yeah,
way?
I write down things in my journal every single day, and I try not to be down on myself. So I compliment myself, I tell myself I'm beautiful every single day.
I teach, I've written a couple books on journaling, and it has a spiritual side to it, but it also has the representation of what you said and how important affirming who you are, affirming who you even want to be, maybe before you even get there, helps you get to that place a lot sooner. So I want to thank Emily for being a part of this story. I got most out of it than anybody, I believe.
Thank you.
I hope you got something out of it, whether a professional, whether you're a child or a parent that is looking at Wigs for Kids or a part of our family of Wigs for Kids. There is life after hair loss, and we're going to come back in another segment, and Emily's going to share with you some of the things that she did to compensate for the eyebrows, the hair loss, and some of the treatments she went through, and we'll share that with you in the next segment. Hey, Jeffrey Paul here with segment 2 in Emily's story and what she did for the treatments that were necessary to help her get through this alopecia hair loss. Emily, there was a lot happening. You lost your hair, little by little bit and all, and you ended up shaving it, and that was a decision that you made on your own, which,
Yes.
bravo, you did a really great job on that bravery. But then you had, on top of that, eyebrows and eyelashes. What fell out first? Were they both simultaneous, or what happened?
Yeah, simultaneously my eyelashes. It had not happened for about 9 months after my hair had begun falling out, and probably about 6 months after I shaved my head. My eyelashes and eyebrows start to come out, and this is kind of when a sophomore now, and looks seem to matter a lot more when you're younger.
Yeah.
So I think I remember I was on vacation around Christmas time, and I realized like I have to start doing something about this because I don't have eyebrows and I don't have eyelashes, so I need to find a way to cope with this, and also just some makeup kind of tips that I could get to help me look somewhat as if I had eyelashes or eyebrows.
You also gotten some medical treatments. You got some injections of cortisone, which obviously had not worked successfully for you at that point.
No, they had not. And I also got cortisone injections into my eyebrows as well. They began doing that. So I had done that for a couple months, and I realized it wasn't working and it was not worth it anymore to go out every single month to be in so much pain.
Did you use any topicals whatsoever on the scalp or any of the areas of your head?
I had been using Rogaine, but that was about it at the time.
And then you found another treatment, fast forward, I think a year ago, was it?
Yes, about a year ago. I had learned about it maybe 2 years ago.
Because it was under research
Yes,
for alopecia.
it was under research, I think maybe since 2016 it had been in research, and my doctor had told me about it, but she said, you know, there are side effects to this. It was called Xeljanz. There are side effects to this. It's expensive.
Non-insured. It doesn't come through insurance,
It
or
would
it does
be.
it now?
It does now. Long story, but we have to get pre-authorization. We have to see if the insurance will cover it even after that. So it took quite a while to be able to have insurance cover it. And also I would have to go in and get blood work just to make sure nothing is going wrong with the medicine. So
now you've been on this treatment for?
Since August 1st last year.
And we're going to right now reveal a very important surprise. I was on a Zoom call with Emily, and we were talking. She was at a winery with her friends and family, and she had her hair on, and we were talking about this session. And then she said, I do have some news for you. And I quietly said, what was the news? And she said her hair started to grow back, which I want you to take a look at her morph right now from Emily that you know with long hair to Emily with an incredible, beautiful full head and a pixie look at this point. Now that is amazing, isn't it? And now you've got some hair under your wig. You're wearing your wig at times, but you said the other day that you've been wearing it less and less.
Yes.
And now we're going to actually start to cut your hair piece shorter so that this can meet and then voila, the unveil at that point.
Yes.
How did you feel when you got that hair starting to grow back in alopecia? Because, you know, that's a pretty big event.
Right. So when I had started the medicine back in August, I was obviously very hopeful. As the year went by, I would check my eyelashes. Like I would go in the mirror and put my flashlight up to my eyelashes to see if I could see any shadows of like any type of growth whatsoever. Because a whole year ago, I did not have eyebrows, eyelashes, or any hair on my scalp. So I remember the first time I saw a little eyelash coming out of my
Celebration.
eye, and I sent a picture to every single person I know, and they're like, "What is that, Emily?" And I was like, "It's really zoomed in, but it's a hair that is growing that myself." So I started to see more growth with my eyebrows and my eyelashes, and I remember at that time I had come in for another consultation with you, and you were saying, "No, it looks like your eyebrows are growing," because you had seen it from like a upper angle, and I was like, "Really see that?" And it continued to grow. Then around February, I had been with my friend in my apartment, and I had been washing my hair, and she looked at the back of my head and she's like, "Emily, like I didn't know your hair was growing." And I was like, "What do you mean?" And
you had no idea.
I really didn't realize how much had been back there. So she took a picture of it, and it was a lot of hair and very small, but it was kind of a win for me. And as I saw through February, March, April, May, June, now July, it has obviously filled in a lot. Probably to almost 100% growth.
Oh, that's amazing. And in the interim, you had gotten microblading, correct, for your eyebrows?
Yes.
Tell us about that story just quickly.
Yeah, so after about a year of having no eyebrows, I had realized I can't do this anymore. I want to be able to do normal things without worrying about sweating off my eyebrows like that, or showering and thinking I don't have eyebrows right after. I would like to have some permanent look there so I can have some more consistent drawing. So I had looked into options for that. I learned about microblading. So I found someone who would microblade my eyebrows, and I went, and it was honestly, it was a really fun day because I like makeup. So to see myself with these permanent eyebrows on was awesome, and she did such a good job of placement as well. So
because one of the difficult times when you're putting them on with makeup, it's very difficult, you know, even as a makeup artist, to line that up correctly so they don't look like two, you know, squirrels running across your forehead.
Yes. So I had gotten them kind of thinner than I would have my regular eyebrows, just so that it would kind of be a baseline of where I could draw. And then throughout my junior year, senior year, and then freshman year, even into this year, I had been getting them done about every 6 months to get them touched up, and because it kind of takes a while to get all the hairs in like a good place that you would want them, all the fake hairs. Yeah, so that helped a ton with everything, thinking like, oh, if I move my arm a certain way, it's not gonna, my eyebrow's still going to be there.
All the things that people don't even think about when they have their eyebrows or hair. And you know, again, for the audience's sake, you continued not to be stalemated with the situation of the condition of alopecia. You continue to dig to find solutions. You know, and that was so important because they're out there more now today than ever before. And we'll be doing an interview with your doctor on that treatment. What was the name of the product?
Zelgans.
Zelgan. Is it a topical or is it oral?
It's an oral medication.
Oral. And then we're going to be doing another medical practice that does the microblading, and maybe we'll talk to yours as well, because the more we can give people the options that maybe they don't have the initiative that you have, because it may take them off their feet a little bit more than most. We want to be able to continue to give them the options that you found to discover what you've discovered at that point. So thank you again for sharing with us. And I want you to stay tuned for our next episode, because Emily is going to take us through some of the incredible things that she researched, she invented, and developed through her living her life, looking herself in the ability to look regular yourself with alopecia. And you're going to be able to do it right at home. And some of these tips, they're amazing to me. So don't miss our next episode.
So something I learned to bring with me everywhere I would be sleeping for maybe more than one night, I would bring this bowl with me so that I would be able to kind of put it in the sink and act as my sink so it could fill up with water and I would be able to wash my hair.